everyone. Good morning. Welcome back into the AM show. Now, our next guest is living every Swiftie's dream. A lifelong Taylor Swift fan, Claire Lundin learned to play guitar to be like Taylor. And now, she's bringing in the Eras Tour experience to fans across the U.S. as a lead performer in the Simply Swifties Band. From the biggest hits to the most beloved deep cuts, she channels the energy and magic of Taylor's music live on stage. So without further ado, please welcome Claire Lundin. Yay! There she is.
Claire, welcome.
I had to do the double take earlier. I was like, wait, no, Taylor's really here. You got it, girl. Okay, so first of all, you just have to talk about just Taylor for you. What does that mean to you? What does she mean to you as an artist, as a person, and how she shaped your life?
I grew up listening to Taylor's music. She's the reason I learned the guitar when I was 10, you know, asked for one for Christmas. Watched all her documentaries. She'd talk about how she'd go home and play the guitar instead of talk to friends. And I was like, I can do that. I can go play the guitar and not talk to anyone. So I'd been songwriting since I was little, but once I listened to her music and saw that she was this musician and songwriter, that became something I aspired to be.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I feel like I've really grown up alongside her music and the different eras and different albums coming out. They've all been at different points in my life. So yeah, I feel very connected to her music.
Oh, totally. No, I remember when 22 came out and I turned 22 like 2 years after that. And I was like, yeah. And so it's like, that's the song of when you're 22. No, but I love the fact, because I want to take this back to the beginning, before you got kind of, you know, into Taylor inspiring you and stuff, because I love that you said that you were songwriting just inherently. Like you just had a passion for that. Where do you think that came from? Do you remember the first song you wrote?
Oh, gosh, I mean, I've always been a bit of a yapper, so I think it was just an opportunity to like say more and to be like just kind of singing and talking. And my mom actually, she used to sit down with paper and pen, and I would just be writing songs, was really just me singing whatever I was feeling, and she would write them down. So I still have these notebooks from 2003 where it's these little songs that I wrote. Did you? Yeah, and it just kind of became a second nature thing, you know, growing up. And it was almost like my own way of journaling was songwriting.
That's amazing. So what age did you actually start writing?
I really started focusing more on songwriting, like sitting down with my own journals. I was about 8 or so, and you know, that was also during the Hannah Montana craze. Grew up listening to Shania Twain, who was also a songwriter. So for me, I was like, oh, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a songwriter. So even at 8, I was like, these are my songs, and this song will be released next year.
Yeah.
And were you the only one, or did you have like other friends in your friend group?
It was me for the songwriting. I mean, I think a lot of my friends were really into singing and like the performance aspect of things, but I have like all these doodles and different lyrics I'd write in my notebooks back in like elementary school through high school. So,
So it was just kind of, it was a part of you. It was just always a part of you. And then you actually went and followed your passion. You studied at Capilano University's Musical Theatre program. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I always knew that I wanted to sing. And then I think around like middle school, high school, I was introduced to musical theater. I mean, I grew up listening to Broadway cast albums. My mom was a performer and was a big fan of musicals. So I'd always known that world existed, but I think, you know, growing up writing songs, I was like, that's what I'm doing. And then I found this other side where it was the performance aspect of it. And I started to do musicals in high school. And from there, I was like, oh, I think this is something that I can actually try to make a living out of. So, yeah, decided to pursue that in college, and then as soon as I could, moved to New York.
Oh my gosh.
That's incredible.
It's so great because I always wondered, like, I have a shower singing voice. I do not, you know, I crush it. Shampoo, conditioner, they love it every day. They're a fan of it, but I would never take my talent out because I don't have a good voice, right? But I always wonder because, like, if you are brought up around musical theater, your mom loved musical theater, had a great voice, did you have a great singing voice, were you gifted with that, or did you really have to work on it?
You know, I think it's a bit of both. I think the passion was always there. Like I say, my mom is a performer. I grew up watching her sing at different gigs. So to me, that was always just there as an option. Singing was never this far-fetched idea or this like big dream that was unachievable. But yeah, I think for me, a lot of it came from the passion and just loving to sing when I could, and then getting to college and realizing, oh, there is a training side to this. And, you know, you do have to put that work in and try to like craft your voice, and there's different styles, especially with musical theater. So It definitely is like an ongoing process, trying to find different parts of my voice. I'm still discovering different sides of it.
Yeah, that's incredible. And then you said with the music theater background and having that in your roots. I mean, can you describe, because there's something very special about what theater and the performance arts in that aspect, what it brings, the characteristics that it brings out. How does that influence everything that you do now?
Oh my gosh, I think having the musical theater background makes this job just so easy. It just feels so second nature because Taylor Swift herself is such a performer and an entertainer. And I remember seeing her in concert when I was 11 and leaving that show, and my mom was like, that is not just a singer, that is a performer. So for me, you know, watching her specifically as a singer growing up, there always was this entertainment aspect to it, and that's what we really try to bring to our shows now, is it's not just singing her songs and just honoring the music, but honoring her as a performer.
Love that.
Yeah, and being able to just connect with her. I think that's the thing about Taylor, is that she connects with so many different generations.
Yeah.
Because I mean, personally, I saved up all my money in high school, and I worked at Rite Aid, and then me and my best friend, we bought the $200, this is when they were $200. This is during the Fearless era. Went to Madison Square Garden, our parents dropped us off there, we went and we saw her perform. And then now you're seeing over a decade later, and now young kids are having that same story. I mean, they have to save up a lot more now because obviously she's where she's at. But what do you think it is? Is it just because she's writing about her experience of journeying through life and it's a connection in that way? Or?
Yeah, I think it really is a unique thing to have songwriters who are just so blunt and just honest, and she really doesn't hold back. Sometimes I think in her lyrics she says things that some people might find controversial, or they're like, oh, did she really just share that information with us? But because of that, when you're listening, you really feel like you're listening to a friend telling you a story, or maybe you're hearing your own experiences reflected. And I think that's like a very special gift that she has as a writer.
The vulnerability, you know, the vulnerability, authenticity. I think as a really great songwriter, those are elements that you know you always have. I'm a big fan of country music, the songwriting and country music, and also, you know, when Taylor writes, the writing is just, it has those levels and those elements. So I can exactly hear what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful. And now I want to get to what you're doing right now with her. So when did you first put the wig on? Because I didn't even realize this was a wig, guys. I mean, she's in full Taylor Swift outfit head to toe. When did you first put the wig on and say, you know what? Let me take my passion of just loving her and her inspiring me to actually going and performing her songs.
Yeah, you know, I've been doing her songs for most of my life just because that was a second nature thing, singing in coffee shops growing up and playing the guitar. I used to always love to pull out her music. And then I'd say it was about 2 years ago that I met Larger Than Life Entertainment, and they knew that I was a big Swiftie. I had actually just seen her in the Eras tour while I was working with them, and they were like, oh, you like Taylor Swift? And I was like, yeah, I'm casual about it, you know. And then, working with them, they said, we want to make a Taylor Swift tribute show. Would you be interested? And I was like, oh, I get to sing Taylor Swift music in front of people, and that's fine. I can do that. That's great.
Sure. You like twist me a little bit, right?
You know, it's casual.
Yeah. Wow. And since then, you've toured with the Paper Bag Players. You performed at theme parks. Now you travel the entire United States, and you have audiences. There are so many people that come out, and you've toured with the Simply Swifties Band. I mean, it is so incredible. And guys, just so you guys can get a feel of what we're talking about, we actually do have a video, so you guys can check it out and see for yourselves the magic that Claire brings.
They get into it. It's honestly such a surreal feeling when you're like on a stage and you have all these people in front of you like screaming the lyrics back to you.
Oh my God.
And I know, I mean, being a Swiftie myself, I know Taylor has said it's this magical feeling where like you hear the songs you wrote and your lyrics sung back to you. And even though I didn't write these songs, it really is amazing to like be singing and putting on that show and then feel like you're getting that energy given right back to you.
Yeah.
Do you get to the moments where, I think, you know, as a performer, especially if they know the words, do you do a lot of the, you know, like you just place the mic to the audience and just let them do their thing, like complete all the rest of the lyrics.
Absolutely, and they take over. You know, these Swifties, like they know the chants to different songs. They have like the little bits. I say they as if I'm not one of them who's gone to the concert and like done all the different little bits. But it's so fun to get to encourage that and to see, you know, we might not be at the Eras Tour, but it really does become our own Eras Tour experience, and they take over.
Yeah, I mean, I can see them there. They are taking over. Now, do you get mistaken for actual Taylor Swift as some of these youngins?
It happens. Yeah. It happens.
How do you handle that?
Well, you know, we have the Taylor Tots.
Okay, you have the Taylor Tots.
The Taylor Tots, and it's great because you'll see their parents in the back, and they're having just as much fun, but they're encouraging their kids to come to the front of the stage and sing along, and a lot of times they'll be like, Taylor, where's Travis? And they'll be asking me questions while I'm singing. And we always try to do meet and greets after. So I'll take pictures with them and just make sure, you know, you try to give them a special moment that they can really take in and like feel seen. Because I know how important that would have been to me at that age, having that.
Totally. Well, it's because everybody can just, you know, all the lyrics, you go there, and it's just, I feel like it's a whole communal experience. And I feel like just even the word Swiftie, I feel it's become more than just Taylor Swift.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's kind of like, yeah, of course, it's about her and loving her as the person and the artist, but now it's like, okay, we'll move here. Now it's like the Swifties in a way. Can you explain, like, the phenomenon of being a Swiftie and what does it mean?
It really has evolved over, I'd say, the last few years especially, because I'm sure you can connect to, like, being a fan from the Fearless era. It was a lot smaller. You know, I grew up watching all her different tweets and her Tumblr era and all that. And so for me, it was like, oh, I'm a Swiftie, and it wasn't this huge thing that it is now. And I think now it really is such a community. You look at all the Swifties making friendship bracelets and trading them with each other. And even though the Eras Tour is over now, you still see that happening. And it's just this beautiful connection of we all feel this love for someone and we all relate to the songs, or something has brought us into that room together. And it's just, I feel like community is the best word to really describe Swifties. It's not just a fan base, it really is a community.
I love that. You know, speaking of community, we have one of our dear friends. He's not just our colleague, our co-worker, but he works with us. His name is Evan, and he has, this entire week, he has made sure that we knew that he is the biggest Swiftie.
As he should.
In New York, if not in the United States. So he's very excited. He belongs to the community. By default, he's also, but from what he's brought me into, I'm also, you know, I'm also borderline, and I'm about to jump in.
You're jumping in?
Okay.
You're doing it?
I'm going to jump in.
You're going to go get the beads?
Here we go.
Wait, so how did the beads all happen, though? How did that start?
She has a lyric in her song, You're on Your Own, Kid, that says, make the friendship bracelets. And you know, she doesn't even sing that song at the Eras Tour, but it's just the song, it's such a beautiful one about embracing yourself. And I think that's something from the beginning. She's talked about, you know, growing up being bullied and feeling alone and wanting to be a singer, and that wasn't necessarily the popular thing to do at the time. So I think a lot of fans connected to, especially in her older music, that idea of just like being okay with being on your own and doing your own thing. So when You're on Your Own, Kid came out, I know for myself, I remember listening to it and really connecting to it, and I just have it on all the time. In that song, those lyrics really just stuck with people, and so the Swifties started making friendship bracelets and trading them at her concerts.
That's how it all happened. Yeah, it's one person starts to do it, and you know, you talk about the community, because when there was the potential terrorist attack that was going to take place out in Europe, and you saw the concert had to be canceled, everybody was devastated about it, but also, thank God, everyone was safe as well. But everyone came out. So hundreds upon hundreds of people came out just into the streets and just started singing Taylor Swift together, just to like honor the moment and honor that, like, the sadness of her not being able to perform, and that people may have ruined this moment for them, but also like uplifting each other. Well, like it's so special when you look at it like that, right?
There's a really beautiful way that they took something that I think for a lot of people obviously was devastating, and they made it into this beautiful experience. You know, a lot of Swifties even say, like, that was the Eras Tour moment, was all these Swifties in the streets singing the songs and creating their own concert. It was just really beautiful to see that.
Yeah, and because you hear stories like that, right? And you see stories like that. But then on the other side, Taylor also, I mean, she has a song called Bad Reputation, but there's also just so much hate that goes against the Swiftie community as well. Where does that hate come from? Why is that? Is it just, that's just nature? People hate stuff. Is that it?
You know, it's like Taylor says, haters gonna hate. I think Swifties are so loud and proud. And I think for some people that can come off as a lot. I think also a lot of Swifties have been around for a long time. So there's this idea of like protectiveness over her and the community. And, you know, she obviously went through a lot. She had her album Reputation, where she described what she went through with a lot of controversial different incidents. And I remember at that time, you know, being a Swiftie, it wasn't the cool thing. Like now you're like, oh, I'm a Swiftie, and like you make friends with it. But at the time it was like, yeah, like I love Taylor Swift. And people were like, oh. So, you know, I think a lot of Swifties also stuck with her through these different times because of that love for her music and what she represents for different people. And so I think now that she is as huge as she's become with the Eras Tour and all her different Grammys and everything, people are like, oh, we can be loud about this. We can be proud.
Well, the Eras Tour, I think, just changed everything because the amount of people that came out, she literally, the economy grew in every city that she went to. Like, there's actually like stats that prove this. And I'm sure you're making your small mark doing that as well, like where you're going and touring, because you look at how many people are showing up to hear you sing. It's just this overall, I think it's just a benefit. I think overall it's a positive thing, and I think there's always going to be haters and stuff, but I feel like when anything is such a movement, you're going to have a negative side to that in a sense.
Look, Nadine, as they say, numbers don't lie.
True.
Numbers don't lie.
Numbers don't lie. They definitely they don't lie. You just gotta shake it off, right?
Always.
Just gotta shake it off. All right, guys, we're gonna just pause this right here. We're gonna have a quick commercial break, but then we have more with Claire. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Just shake it off. Shake it off.
Welcome back to the AM show. Listen, if you've been rocking with us thus far, you have seen we have been hanging with Claire and we have been diving deep into all things Taylor Swift and above. It's been some incredible conversations, and we're just going to continue to ask you questions, pick your brain, and find out more about your day-to-day.
Love that.
Yeah. But when we were just talking during commercial break, we were talking about the impact that you're able to have when children and adults are experiencing these shows, and talking about how it's a memory that they're never going to forget. How does that feel to be you're penciling in these memories into the hearts of others?
It's such a special feeling. I think as a performer, you kind of hope you can have that impact for someone, whether it's their first show or just a show that means a lot to them where they get to go and sing Taylor Swift music. So it definitely, it feels very important. When I get on that stage, I know that there is some kid in that audience where it might be their first time even hearing this live music and being in that setting. So it feels really special.
And like we have some of that footage up on the screen. We can put some more up there as well, but it really just shows, I mean, you guys make a whole experience out of it. And this was back in December, right? This footage, tell us about what we're seeing here.
Yes, so this was at Capilano Suspension Bridge in Vancouver. This is when Taylor was in town for the final stop of the Eras Tour. And it was just Swiftie mayhem in the best way possible. Like the whole city truly transformed, and I grew up in Vancouver, so it was seeing it through this different lens, coming back as a performer and getting to see how the city really embraced all the Swifties who were coming from all over the world to see her final shows.
Incredible.
How many times did you go to the Eras Tour?
I went twice. I was very fortunate. Very fortunate. I mean, I would have gone more times if I could have, but I saw her show in New Jersey here. And it was completely last minute, just managed to buy tickets the day before. I didn't think I was going to get to see it. So that alone was so overwhelming and exciting. And I had just moved to the city, so I had my moment. She was singing Fearless, and I was like, oh my gosh, I grew up listening to this and seeing her perform in Vancouver. And now I've moved to this other country in this different part of the world, and Taylor is still here with me. I was like, she sang Welcome to New York as her surprise song. I was like, oh, she knows I'm here.
She's just following me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't get rid of her. I don't
Yeah,
know.
she totally knows
It's
about
just
me.
kind of a thing. Have you ever met her? No. You haven't met her yet?
No, I don't know how I would do with that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, what is something you would, I mean, she's obviously had such a big impact on your life,
gosh,
on a lot of
yeah.
our lives, right? What is something you would ask her if you did get the chance to?
Oh my gosh, I think I'd be lucky if I didn't completely black out.
Yeah, one of those. I get that. Yeah.
I think I would really just want to thank her for her influence. And like you were saying earlier, her vulnerability with her lyrics really has inspired me as a songwriter. I think as a young woman growing up, watching her career was really inspiring to see her really taking control and her going with her Taylor's versions and everything. She's really changed this industry. So I'd want to thank her for that impact.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
I think that's wonderful. Yeah, as long as you remember.
As long as words are coming out and she can understand.
Before you pass out. Before you pass
Someone
out.
has to record it for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the Simply Swifties Band, let's go back and talk about them. Who is in the band? How many members are in the Simply Swifties Band? And how did you guys all meet?
Oh, so it was all through Larger Than Life Productions.
Okay.
So Larger Than Life has a boy band. They've been around for years and years. They're incredible. I think they're actually going to be on the show
They
soon.
are in a few weeks.
Look out for
Yes, very
that.
excited.
But yeah, their band was willing to kind of just come over and join with this Taylor Swift music. There are a lot of really great, versatile artists, and depending on the show, depending on what state we're in, we'll have different guys from that band come on over. We usually have a drummer, bassist, and guitarist, and then I'm always there singing.
That's incredible.
And then, yeah.
How do you guys pick the set list of what you're gonna? Because there's so many songs to do. How long are like your performances?
So it depends on the different venues. They're usually anywhere from an hour to about an hour and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, so you try to pack in quite a lot, though. When you look at the Eras Tour, that's like a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
So it really is this great collaboration that I have with Larger Than Life, Edwin Ortega and Melody Rodriguez.
Yeah.
We work together. You know, I try to bring like that deep Swiftie passion where I'm like, I think they'd really love to hear this song, even though it might not be like the radio hit. And they're such experts with what gets an audience really invested. And the goal is you want people to feel like they are at that Eras Tour show, and you want them on their feet dancing and singing along, so they know exactly what songs to pick that really get people invested.
So fun. There's a lot to pick from.
There's a lot.
Do you have a favorite tour stop or city that you've gone to?
Oh my gosh. You know, I do have to say going to Vancouver was pretty special.
Going home?
I think, yeah, it was this beautiful way to come home. That was the area where I'd gone to university. So I'm like in the car, going to the suspension bridge, going past the school I went to years ago, being like, wow, I never would have imagined that I'd be coming back in a blonde wig, getting to sing and getting to be here while Taylor's here. Like, it was just such a special thing. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And is there like, do you have any routines of like, okay, you're Claire here, and then all of a sudden is it when you put the wig on, like Hannah Montana style, that
Definitely.
you become a different person? Or what is the routine to get into Taylor Swift?
You know, usually it would be when I'm blonde, I'm like, now we are doing the Taylor tributes. I find the second that I am on that stage, it is trying to just honor her and Taylor as an artist. So second I step out, I'm like, okay, Claire's back there in the dressing room. And now it's Taylor tribute time.
Yeah. I mean, it is great. And so when fans ask you that question, some of those youngins that like, where's Travis? You're just playing along kind of, right? Like
Absolutely.
Easter Bunny style.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's all real happening.
Yeah. I try to see too with the parents. A lot of times they'll come with them, and I'll get an idea from the parents whether or not the kids understand that it's a tribute, or if they think that they're meeting Taylor Swift. You know, you don't want to shock anyone by being like Hannah Montana.
Hello.
So a lot of times I'll kind of get that idea from the parents, but the really young ones, you know, they're not even questioning it. They're just so excited, and they want to hug, and they want to talk about their favorite songs, which I'm always so excited to get to do anyway.
Yeah, because you're passionate about it, and it probably just comes easy for you, like all of this. I mean, you get paid to do it. I mean, it's kind of great,
I'm
right?
like, I finally get to use all this Swiftie knowledge for something.
Yeah, you put
Incredible,
it positive. And I mean, some of the songs, like what do you connect to the most? Like what you were saying that every album kind of sparks something different, but what album really speaks to you?
I think growing up with Speak Now was a really big one for me. That album was so storytelling driven. And I think too, as someone who loves theater and musicals, those lyrics, every song told a different story, and you could so clearly see those pictures. So that's inspired me a lot as an artist and as a songwriter. So I think I always go back to Speak Now as a fan.
Wow.
Yeah, but then I look at, you know, the sister albums, Folklore and Evermore. It was this new sound, but she still had that poetry in the lyrics. So those ones really inspire me as well.
Yeah,
I love that.
All good stuff.
And are you still, do you still also dabble in writing your own music and things like that? Or?
I do. It's mostly, right now, it's a lot of just getting things off my chest.
Yeah.
I'm really mostly focused on doing the performing, so with the Simply Swifties Band, doing musicals and that sort of thing. But yeah, no, I still really like to do different songwriting and playing different instruments and everything.
No, it seems like, you know, you're taking inspiration from Taylor, just in the vulnerability and in transparency in your own music, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting how, you know, both sides kind of feed each other, which is really cool.
Absolutely.
You're so right. Yeah, it does. And it may, like, even on your own tour stops, inspire you to now have, you know, your own version of some of those great albums in a way, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so how long does it take you guys to rehearse, to prepare for a show?
You know, usually it's quite a quick process. We'll usually when we first started, we kind of laid down the groundwork with like specific songs that we knew. This is our 1 hour show. This is what we'll always be doing. And then depending on the different venues, depending on if she releases different songs or albums, you know, she released Tortured Poets Department last year, and we were like, okay, we can add some of this now. We'll usually do a rehearsal or two with the band just to like really make sure everyone feels good. But we all get up there and just do our thing.
You just go out and do it. Just kind of. And how do you handle, like, let's say, like, someone makes a mistake here, or the wrong note, or the wrong song? Like, how do you guys handle that? And how do you just keep going through it?
You know, I think, again, being trained in theater, that's exciting for me. I'm like, oh, that's a live show. I was like, we're live. This isn't recorded. So it's fun to get to go out there and kind of like improv together and really just like collaborate as a team. And for the most part, I really can't think of anything where it's been like, oh, we are completely lost now. So,
great.
Yeah, things have gone smoothly. Knock on wood about that. But but I think if it ever came up, you know, Swifties are so forgiving as well. Taylor will stop her own songs and be like, I don't know the words. Which is great. So I'm like, if she can do that, that kind of gives me some room for error.
Well, I think that's the era we're in a society, is just authenticity. And that everyone understands that, hey, you're going to stumble, hey, you're going to make a mistake. I mean, even us on the show, half the time, like, what's that word? Or I'm like, as I'm trying to retell, like anything, it just happens. And you just have to own up to it in a sense. And I think it's that authenticity that people will connect with you as well when that happens.
Definitely.
Which I think is great. But speaking about musical theater, do you have any interest in ever getting back into that in Broadway? I mean, you're here in New York City, or?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I'm very much in a place where I feel like so many different opportunities have come my way over the last 2 years, and I'm just so grateful to get to perform and to get to do what I love. So I'm like, any door that opens anywhere, I'm willing to kind of explore and just keep moving forward with what I'm doing and see where things lead.
It's exciting. Awesome. Well, you guys have an upcoming event. I believe it's next weekend you guys have it. So we actually have the flyer for that we can show in case anybody is out in the area that wants to go and check out. There we go. There you are. So tell us where you guys are going on May 5th or March 15th. Not May, March 15th.
So we're going to be in Belmore, New York on Long Island. We have a whole hour-and-a-half show planned. So it's going to be the full set. We're debuting some new outfits, so I'm very excited about that. I'm getting ready to a few more sparkles and sequins here and there. But yeah, this is going to be, it's our first live show that we've been doing in quite a few months. So it's kind of like our step back into the new season as spring approaches. Very excited to get to take the stage again.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because you probably do outdoor events and stuff. And so in the winter, gotcha. So you guys kind of go a little quiet and then you guys come back out.
I find spring and summer, it is constant. And then you kind of get like a little bit of downtime. Like, you know, Taylor's taking her Eras Tour break. We're taking our break and we're ready now to go back to it.
Yeah, well, after 2.5 years of touring, I mean,
I know, I can't fault her.
Oh my gosh.
When you guys are in your busy season, I mean, how many shows are you looking at on in the average of, let's say, a week or a month?
At least a show a week. Sometimes we're packing 2 shows a week. Last summer, we had a residency in the Poconos at a resort. So every week we were going to Pennsylvania and doing a show there. And then during that week, every so often you'll get different shows popping up in different states. So kind of just go with it. And it's like, okay, which state am I going to be in today? And we'll see. And
How fun.
yeah, it's been great. It's been amazing for me to get to explore this side of the country.
It's so exciting. Yeah. I mean, you come to a new country and you're like, now I get to go and travel. Why not?
Yeah.
Travel for something that I love to do. And
Not
just
the worst.
real quickly, I do want to talk about the outfits. You said you're going to be debuting new outfits. So how do you get your outfits? Do you design them? Do you buy them? Does someone design them? Tell us the whole costume process.
This is all through Larger Than Life.
Okay.
As I mentioned before, Melody Rodriguez is part of the company. She is like complete glam squad. She gets me ready. She knows exactly, like, she'll tell me, this is the makeup we're doing for this show. This is the outfit that we want you to bring for this one. And she has a few outfits that she just got together. And yeah, we're going to be putting them on for the new show.
Well, I cannot wait. This is so exciting. Just want to thank you so much for being here.
Thank
This was so fun just hearing about your new era, stepping into the Eras Tour in your own way, right?
Yes.
Claire's version. That's what I like. Eras Tour, Claire's version. So much fun. And speaking of Claire's version, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, you're going to perform a little for us, all right? Yes, guys. We have our own solo performance here on the AM show with Claire, so don't go anywhere. We are just getting started. Be fearless and stay. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, welcome back into the AM show. We are still joined here by the lovely Claire Lundin. Welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Amazing.
And we have been talking about everything to our era of Taylor Swift, our era of Claire, and we've been talking about friendship bracelets, the works, but now we're actually going to hear you perform. And before we came back from break, we were talking about this lovely guitar. What's the history behind it?
This is my mom's guitar. She went to Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana, and this summer, the Simply Swifties Band got to go and stay at Indiana University for the Best Buddies Conference. So I actually got to bring her guitar back to where she purchased it all those years ago. Got to play on the stage that she'd sang on.
What a small world. You went on the same stage.
Same stage that she used to sing on in college.
That's incredible.
Such a full circle
It
moment.
was really, really beautiful.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh, it is. Okay, so what songs are you going to perform right now?
I'm going to be singing Love Story.
Okay.
Might be a little something else in there as well.
All right. Okay, perfect. Well, without further ado, guys, take it away, Claire.
Thank you. We were both young when I first saw you. I closed my eyes and the flashback starts. I'm standing there on a balcony in summer air. See the lights, see the party, the ball gowns. See you make your way through the crowd and say hello. Little did I know that you were Romeo, you were throwing pebbles, and my daddy said stay away from Juliet, and I was crying on the staircase, begging you please don't go. And I said, Romeo, take me somewhere we can be alone. I'll be waiting. All there's left to do is run. You'll be the prince and I'll be the princess. It's a love story, baby, just say yes. Romeo, save me. They're trying to tell me how to feel. This love is difficult, but it's real. Don't be afraid, we'll make it out of this mess. It's a love story, baby, just say yes. I don't know how it gets better than this. No, I don't know how it gets better than this. 'Cause I don't know how it gets better than this. You take my hand and drag me head first, fearless. And I don't know why, but with you I dance in a storm. And
as fearless. We were both young when I first saw you.
All right. Okay. Amazing. That was incredible.
I literally got like goosebumps listening to you sing. Your voice. It's so beautiful. It's like butter. Absolutely incredible.
Amazing performance.
Oh yeah.
Amazing performance.
I can see why you draw the crowds you do. I can see why kids are just like starry-eyed looking at you. I think you're doing such an amazing thing. You have such a wonderful talent. I can't wait to see what else you do.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you both.
Of course. Thank you for coming by. Honestly, we enjoyed just going through the full rundown of how you got to where you are and all the cities that you're in and why you just love Taylor Swift and how you resonate with her so much.
Yeah.
Incredible performance, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for doing a little Fearless. It's my favorite. I
I'll have
love
to
it.
throw that in there for you.
Oh, I appreciate you, girl. I appreciate you guys. Once again, Claire Lundin. Woo! So if you guys are out in New York, make your way east. Head on over to Long Island so you guys can go see her and her band perform next weekend, guys. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We have more of the show on this Friday when we return, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.